So, I want to talk about the theme tonight. As I was thinking about Platefall and what comes in chapter 13 and 14, the message of empathy kept coming back to me. And so tonight, we're going to talk about empathy. One of the things that I teach in at least one of my classes, but in two particularly, I have a unit on empathy, sympathy, and offering compassionate comfort. And so this, I think, is something that is useful for all of us. We all have friends and loved ones who go through hard times. And if you're anything like me, you don't always know what to say, right? You don't always know what to say. And so tonight, we're going to use Final Fantasy VII Remake as a way for learning about how to talk to people that are going through it. Okay, so I want to make you a better person tonight to help you be a better person to other people. Okay, that's the goal tonight. I want to help you learn how to listen, how to talk to other people, and to just be there. As you noticed, these characters, they're in this mode of listening to Elmira, who's also in grief, right? She's also kind of dealing with and digging into her own emotions, and she's reflecting on the past, right? She's reflecting on the past of how they got to this point, and they're all listening. It's important for them to hear, to understand the state of things as they currently are. Yet, at the same time, it's important for Elmira to kind of process this grief, and it's a processing of grief for the entire group. Notice what happens at the end, though. Now, two things. Cloud immediately says, we've got to go and get her back, right? We've got to take action. And Elmira's not quite ready to hear that. And I think that really speaks a lot into some of the ways that, again, empathy and resolution aren't always hitting at the same moment, right? Sometimes empathy is just being with someone when they can't go to that next space, just kind of sitting in there with them. And resolution isn't going to necessarily happen right then, even if there is in Cloud's mind, there's an obvious solution to this. She's not ready for that. And so there does need to be, this is something I tell my students, there's got to be a sensitivity to meet someone with where they are rather than where they could be or where you want them to be. We sometimes want to get them to that good place so that we don't feel that anxiety and tension anymore, but just kind of sitting with them in that. Like, no, let's just leave it alone for right now. They're obviously going to revisit this toward the end of this chapter, but right now it's important for everybody to just kind of take a beat, right? To get some fresh air and all that kind of stuff. So I love that scene, the way they depict it. That scene with Elmira is really key. With our ultimate theme of empathy tonight, where we started with the brief lecture, and then we've been looking at all of these things through the lens of how do you help somebody grieve and cope with life. That scene with Elmira was key. The first interaction with Elmira at the beginning of chapter 13 was all about listening to her, giving her some space. But then inevitably, you do allow people to move at their own pace. However, usually with gentleness, usually with respect, usually with tact, you do want to begin to introduce the idea of thinking about the future and asking the question of what can we do right now? What can we do right now? Now, this is not 24 hours later, okay? Cloud's moving at a very escalated pace. But at some point, to be supportive and to help your friend, you do want to help them come to a place of beginning to think about the future. Now, it doesn't mean that you're pushing them. Don't be pushy. But you want to help them to kind of begin to think beyond this moment, okay? For some people, that's going to be a few days. For some people, that's going to be weeks. And for some people, it's going to be months. Cloud says necessary things here, but he lacks some tact. Now, their situation demands a little bit more urgency, because there is a time when if they wait too long, they may lose Aerith, or they may lose others, you know? Shinra may gain power, right? They may find this promised land, then what do they do? And so there is a level of urgency, but navigating that urgency with tact is incredibly important. Now, let's not forget that all three of these characters, Aerith, Tifa, and Barret, are all struggling in some way. Aerith is having this struggle with the life stream. Tifa has this struggle with losing her past. Barrett has lost his team members. And in this next scene, we're going to get to see how all three of these are coping and how Cloud is there differently for each one of these. So we're going to dissect all three of them. We're going to watch these scenes with a lens of empathy. How is Cloud an avatar of empathy for these three characters, okay? I think it's going to be great. Let's watch.
How is this? Is this a dream?
Maybe. You tell me.
You okay?
Don't I look it? I used to live in the Shinra building, back when I was really little.
Your mom told us.
Right. So it kind of feels like I've gone back to my childhood home, you know? Honestly, it's not that bad.
So what? You want to stay?
Come on, Cloud. Don't be silly.
Your mom's really worried too.
Two? So you're worried about me?
Oh, of course I am.
I'm sorry about that. Really.
Is that?
The live stream, people returning to it after the Platefall.
Everyone dies eventually.
I suppose.
So we need to make the most of the time we have. To live our lives the way we want to live. Every minute, every moment matters.
I'll remember that.
Good. So...
You need to embrace this moment. Right?
I'm glad I met you, Cloud. I really am. I'm grateful for all the words we've shared, for all the moments and the memories. You've made me more happy than you know. And I'll always cherish what you've given me. But whatever happens, you can't fall in love with me. Even if you think you have, it's not real.
Do I get a say in all this?
It's almost morning. Time to go.
I'm coming for you.
If that's what you want. Thank you.
There's a lot of theories as to what's happening here. You know that I am not a sequel proponent. Like, I'm not saying it's not a sequel, but I don't believe that it currently has to be. And so I think that it's a beautiful representation of Aerith being able to speak through the planet to Cloud here, using, her ability, her powers through the live stream. Lizzie, I see what you're saying there. I think that you're getting into a lot of lore, but right now the game itself, the way that it's presented to us, is that it seems as though Aerith is using her abilities to speak to Cloud through some sort of mystical, ancient live stream sort of thing. Now, it may come out to be that this is a different Aerith, or it's a different, whatever it is. But what I would like to say is that there is some sort of connection that's happening here between Cloud and Aerith, where Aerith is able to speak to Cloud from a place of foreknowledge. Roxy, but the live stream around is totally a foreshadowing to the scene. Yeah. And so for those of you that are familiar with their original game, this is a lot of foreshadowing, and it really shows that Aerith has a foreknowledge. Now, I've spoken at this an extraordinary amount. If you watch my video on the Whispers, where I talk about how Aerith gains her foreknowledge, it's not that she's traveled to the future. I don't believe that this is a time travel narrative. I also don't believe that this is a narrative that is cognizant of the original game. I think that this is a reimagining, a remake in every sense of the word. That's my own personal belief. I could be proven wrong, and I'd be happy because I love this game. But what I am saying here is that Aerith has a knowledge of the future, and it's through perhaps a vision of the planet, perhaps that she receives at the beginning of the game through the leaky Mako pipe, where she's able to kind of experience and see things. That's why she knows Cloud. That's why she knows Marlene. She knows things will happen before they happen. Because she is an ancient, and she's able to know the will of the planet. And there's something with the Whispers where she's like, something's off about this. These are agents of the planet, but there's something off here, and we still don't yet know at this point in the game, and certainly in the trilogy, we don't really know what's all going on there. What's important about this scene to me, if we're looking at it from the lens of an empathy here, how does Cloud relate to Aerith? If this is Aerith that's in the Shinra Tower, right? And she's communicating with him in some way, notice how Cloud responds. He's saying to her, I'm coming for you. I'm gonna come to you. I'm gonna rescue you. Aerith here is the one that is captured, and she's thinking about all the things that will happen in their lives, in their journey, and in her story. And she's comforting Cloud here, and she's saying, don't fall in love with me, right? Don't get too attached to me. It's not real. This isn't real, what's here. And this is an Aerith that has grown a bit since their first meeting. I can't speak too much to that just yet because we don't know a lot about Zack, but I want to speak more about that, but I won't. With that in mind, Aerith also is talking about, it's important for you to know that every moment matters because everybody dies eventually. But what matters is that we do everything that we can to make the most of the time that we have. And gosh, that's a message, right? That's a powerful message for all of us. So that's an amazing piece to this. I love this scene with Aerith, and it's brought to even more power because behind her you've got these green waves that are going up into the sky, and it represents the life stream. These are the souls returning to the planet. They return to the planet in this, and so I think that is just haunting, right? It gives a real life and death sort of urgency to it.
Can't sleep?
No. You too?
I heard footsteps.
Sorry. Didn't mean to wake you.
I'm a light sleeper. It's a soldier thing.
That flower you gave me the other night? That was from Aerith, wasn't it? I knew there was something weird going on. You buying flowers? They symbolize reunion, believe it or not. I was curious, so I looked it up. I tried to keep it alive as long as I could. But now, it's dead and buried. Like the bar, our home, and everything else. They took everything from us. Again.
Mm.
Cloud. Cloud, you're hurting me.
Mhm.
It's stupid. I know that crying's a waste of time.
Mm.
That's not true.
Thank you.
Mm. And so Tifa is in this distressed place, and she's the worst thing is her current thing, right? And Cloud doesn't have the words. Cloud does not have the words to speak, but you see some subtle character growth for Cloud where, you know, she's sobbing on his shoulder. And what does he do? He just clutches her, right? Because he doesn't have words. He can't fix this. He can't bring the bar back. He can't bring back her friends who have died. So all he does is he holds her, even to the point that he's not going to let go. And she's even like, you're hurting me, right? And so it's almost like an aggressive, I'm not going to let you go. I'm not going to let you go. And that is a beautiful sentiment. And what a powerful representation of empathy for us. You know, when somebody is hurt beyond our repair, we just hold them and we cry with them. And she says crying's a waste of time, and he's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. Sometimes you gotta let it out, and that's what we're gonna do together. And I'm here with you. You don't need words. Sometimes a hug is more than 1,000 words, and I think that kind of thing is what makes their relationship so beautiful. So I think you're exactly right. Cloud needed it too. You know, I mean, he's in pain. He's in pain because Tifa's in pain, but he's in pain for himself too. On his watch, as Sephiroth said, right, in the vision, on his watch, more people died. And this is, gosh, even when you are hurting, to just hold someone else, to have that human connection makes all the difference in the world. So I absolutely love it. So another beautiful beautiful representation of empathy.
You should rest up while you can.
Likewise.
No, I'm good. Real good. Besides, when I close my eyes, I start thinking about things. About people. Like Finn, lazy little punk. Kid would do damn near anything, except what you told him. But ask him to paint you a picture, and boy howdy. Those stamps in the tunnels? Finn's work. Every one. Then there's Al, Intel guy. He had these tricks for stealing codes I still don't understand.
I'm so curious about Finn.
Stole his share
I
of
love it.
hearts too. But when it came to the ladies, he just had the one trick. Bouquet of flowers hidden behind his back. Funny to think, some of them might have even come from here. He pulled a flower trick on Tifa once, believe it or not. She told him where to stick 'em.
Of course she did.
Our quartermaster Nellie had a good laugh at that. She was tight with Jesse. People sometimes took them for sisters even. They'd say no way and get upset, but then they'd start giggling and, you know. Yeah, they'll all be fine. They're strong. They're tough. Like me. After we save Aerith, I'll introduce you to them.
Sounds good.
Never thought I'd feel better after talking with your hard-boiled ass.
Think you can sleep now?
Oh yeah, like a baby.
Like a baby. Right, isn't that cool, chat? So this is so relatable, you know, and I think that this is like good bro empathy, you know. It's just like we're grieving, it sucks, and we're gonna just talk it out. We're gonna talk about memories. We're gonna talk about what it means to you know, think on good times and stuff, and I love it. I love it. Each one of these resolutions is perfectly suited to the relationship that Cloud has with these characters, and is perfectly suited to the characters and what's at stake for them. In my final video, to give you a little bit of a preview of what I'm working on right now, I'm talking about some of the dichotomy between Aerith and Tifa, and the way that both of them remake Cloud's world and the larger world as a whole, and how they are integral. But I also talk about Barret, and I talk about other characters in the game as well, and how each of them has a very specific role, just to give you a little bit of a preview of that third video. And then it's going to deep dive into some bonkers religious stuff as well that I can't wait to share. It's going to like really like be amazing. But this scene with Barret gives us that third piece of empathy, and it's the idea that we're chatting about life, and it's about what we've done and what we're going to do. It's very practical in that way. It's not touchy-feely, but something about just talking it out makes it better. And so here we've got three really, really great things. Number one, empathy is about putting things in perspective and doing what we can. I'm going to come rescue you, Aerith, right? I'm going to do this. And at the same time, we're going to make the most of the time that we have, because we know that time is short. Grief. Number two, it's about holding someone close. It's about being present in the moment. You can't solve things. There is no next step. There is no plan B yet. But we're just going to hold one another, and we're going to cry. And that third one is we're going to talk, and we're going to remember, and we're going to forecast and dream about the future as well. These three things, I think that these are beautiful, 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 beautiful elements of empathy, right?